In today's video, we're going to dive into two clips, one from Mark Yusko and another from, I don't actually know who made this Bitcoin ad, but we're going to examine the actual banking system and how we got into this predicament. And both of these stories are really good ways to summarize the problems and opportunities that we have. So stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2 BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. So I'll play this first clip. Like I said, I don't know who actually made it. It's on Vivek's shared from his channel, but it is a short clip, about 1 minute. Then we're going to break down Mark Yusko's analogy about the banking system.
What is this archaic system?
Mother's maiden name? Leibowitz?
You're telling me this guy is how things get verified.
That's my job.
I'm just saying, you shouldn't have to buy $10 worth of gum if you just want 79 cents worth of gum. Why do you get charged your money to take your money from your account? And if you're out of money, they charge you for being out of money?
What?
An overseas transfer takes 5 days?
Business days.
Why?
What are they using? A Zeppelin?
I deposit the check Monday.
But Monday was a bank holiday.
Why is this the way it is?
A bank holiday?
This system
What's a fake holiday?
makes no sense.
This makes no sense.
Who designed this system?
Man.
Is this really the best we can do?
Hello?
Don't we deserve better?
That seems exaggerated, but that's exactly where we are. This system goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, and it has not been really updated since. Of course, we got quote unquote Swift rails, but that's still like the kind of Skit said, still can be 5 days to settle. And then you're paid international transaction fees and other fees, things of that nature. I know that firsthand, living out in a foreign country. So nothing has really changed except for there's more stops in the process and everybody taking a little cut and then you footing that bill. And Mark Yusko goes all the way back to the Venetian time frame back in like the 1200s or so and explains this really, really well.
Watch clips from his interview.
So let's take gold. So I have a buddy in the business, the hedge fund business, Kyle Bass. People probably heard about him. He bashes on China all the time. And if you go to Kyle's office, underneath his desk, he has a safe and he has a giant gold coin from Australia. It's 26 kilograms. And he picks that thing up and he says, hey, you want to see the gold? Now look, let's say I was Kyle and I reached down here under my desk and I pulled out this gold bar and I want to send you half. Well, as strong as I think I am, I couldn't break that gold bar in half. Even if I couldn't stuff it in the computer and send it to you. But with a couple taps of keystroke, I can send you Bitcoin instantaneously, anywhere in the world for free. That transfer of value is more efficient. So what the internet did to information, the TruthNet does to value. And this actually all goes back to your homeland, to Italy. Italy really is the center of the universe. And right now with the Pope passing, it's the center of the universe again, everybody's watching. But it really was the center of the universe in the 11 and 1200s because the Venetian merchants and the original bankers had control of trade and control of money. And the Venetian, I think it was called the Florent, was the primary mode of trade in terms of currency. And then these Portuguese monks, I love this part, like literally Portuguese monks, the Knights Templar, believe it or not, they're real, had this thing where they would send knights out on these quests and some of them didn't come back. And so their gold was parked at the abbey and they're like, you know what? We could lend that gold out, charge interest on it. And so they started this idea of banking. And so the Medicis said, we like that idea. So we're going to steal, because good artists borrow, great artists steal, right? We're going to steal that idea. And if you think about it, in the old days, if I wanted to lend you money, I would lend you money. I would write down on my papyrus tablet, because I'm super old, okay, that Mauricio owes me $100. And you come back a year later to pay me $110. And I'm a bad guy. So I've, scratched out the 100 and I say 200. And you go to pay me 110 and I say, oh, I'm sorry, you owe me 220. You're like, but I only borrowed 100. Yeah, but there's only one ledger. You trusted me. I'm not trustworthy. So you're out of luck. So the managed.
And we haven't moved far from that system right now, where your banks can literally just screw you over and do things like that because, they control that ledger. So ironically, we haven't seen much development in that. So if you haven't done your world finance, world economy kind of 100 hours, you look up the Medicis, like he's mentioning, the Rothschilds, the drawing a blank right now, Rockefellers, how the Creature of Jekyll Isle, how all of these banking cartels came into power, and they're using the same thing he mentioned here. So it started kind of, we'll call it innocent. It's like, we need a way to trade amongst one another, and someone has to be trusted. So it's like, we got to find someone we can put that trust on, and they will store the ledgers for us. And then we come back and they're kind of the quote unquote trusted third party. Well, like he said, if that trusted third party is not trustworthy, then bad things can happen and they can make changes to the ledger. And that's where he comes into this next part, where it's like, okay, well, I'll just trust more and more people, then add more mediaries in between. And well, you can see how that shapes up.
She came along and said, well, all right, Mauricio's going to do one, Mark's going to do one, different ledgers, and we, the benevolent Medicis, for a small fee, will make sure the ledgers match. Dual entry accounting. Awesome. Okay, great. So you go off to work to make the 110, you come back to pay me. In the interim, I go to see the Medicis. I'm like, guys, I'm going to change my number to 200. I'm going to give you half. Sounds like a good deal. So you come back, you go to pay me 110. I say 220. You say, hey, Medicis. And they're like, oh, Rachel, you must have written the number down wrong. We're sorry. You owe 220. So we need a third person to monitor the arbiter. Well, but then what if they pay that person? So then we need another person and another person. Start to look like a chain of blocks, a blockchain. That's why Scott Stornetta, who's actually an advisor to us, coined the term in 1991. He said the only way to make a system sound is to have a third ledger, and then a fourth, and then a fifth, and then a sixth that gives you truth.
And if you're not aware, that is exactly what Bitcoin does. That's why Mark has coined it the truth net, because you have this public ledger. Every one of us, you watching this right now, unless you only have a phone, but if you have a computer, you can run. And maybe someday you can run a node on your phone. Maybe you can already now. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. But if you have a computer, you can run a node on your personal computer, your laptop. And no, you're not earning any Bitcoin or whatever, but you are helping to kind of decentralize that ledger. And you can have a verifiable, transparent public ledger, just like Coinbase and Kraken and Binance and every other place that you're going to get truth from. You can have your own source of truth for Bitcoin, and it doesn't require much power, and the ledger is not that big. So that is what Bitcoin has done. It has made that transparent public ledger that everyone can have a piece of and store and see and sign and verify. So that removes those arbiters, as he said, and those mediaries that are getting paid off, because it requires a 51% attack on the mining side of the network to actually change something on these public ledgers. So Bitcoin has pretty much made it through escape velocity, and that's not going to happen.
So now if I want to send you value, I have a Bitcoin. The world, the network of thousands and thousands of nodes, 51% say, yep, Mark has a Bitcoin. He wants to send it to Mauricio. Okay, great. He sent it. Mauricio's got it. Now it's his. Once that occurs, I can't say, well, I had two because I only had one. I can't say I didn't give it to you because the network approves it. So we went from trust, we had to trust the banks and the intermediaries, to truth. And that was the biggest aha moment of all. So here we are today. Now we're moving from Web 1 to Web 2 to Web.
All right, I'll end it here. And actually, I just noticed this, and seeing how far we've come, I wonder how you guys would fare against this exercise. So I can recognize all of the companies here and here, all of their icons. When I got to Web3, I'm like, oh, snap, there's already drawing a blank on quite a few of these. So just to see this development and how quickly things change and how quickly you can fall behind on some of this stuff. So it's just kind of fascinating to see it in this kind of hierarchical diagram. And I was just looking at the company icons, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting that I don't know a lot of these, but I know all of these. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I thought that both those videos were very insightful, especially the first one because it's quite comical. And you'll see more and more of these coming out as Bitcoin continues to hit all-time highs. Then it becomes more and more of a push to spread the good gospel of Bitcoin and onboard some normies and let them know how to store their wealth. So I think more and more of these videos will come out, and they're short clips, informative, educational, easy to digest, get the point across. And yeah, I look forward to seeing where we go from here. But I have a sneaky feeling that, like I said, we will hit all-time highs before the end of May. So let's see if I'm right. All right, smash that HBO special, help brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya.